What if the most dazzling women in Korea were not just beautiful, but boldly, fearlessly, irresistibly queer? These iconic queens are breaking barriers, turning heads, and rewriting the rules of love in a world that once demanded silence. Get ready to meet the top 10 openly lesbian stars, lighting up Korea's entertainment world like never before. Only here, on LGBTQ+ Vibes. If their spirit sparks something in you, like, subscribe, and stay with us, where pride never fades. There is something incredibly magnetic about Park Chohyeon. Long before her name made waves on Mix 9, she carried an energy, quiet yet undeniable, that hinted she was meant for something greater than the traditional path. As a former contestant on the survival show and a member of the yet-to-debut group Oasis, Park Chohyeon captured attention not just for her vocals and stage presence, but for the sense of authenticity she radiated even when the cameras stopped rolling. While many tread carefully around public scrutiny, Park Chohyeon chose a different route. She stepped forward unapologetically. Through her personal YouTube channel, she unveiled a part of her life few idols dare to show. She proudly shared her relationship with her girlfriend, Yuun, offering her fans a rare, heartfelt glimpse into her world. The moment was tender and revolutionary all at once, a gentle rebellion against an industry that often demands silence about love. In an environment where even the smallest admission can trigger a storm, Park Chohyeon's honesty was a breathtaking act of courage. It was not about making statements for shock value. It was about living her truth with grace and unwavering pride. Her revelation resonated with thousands who had long yearned for a star to simply be real. Park Chohyeon's decision to share her love story openly not only humanized her, but also carved a new path for idols who dream of being seen for who they truly are, not just the persona they perform on stage. She reminded everyone watching that the purest form of artistry, the kind that touches hearts, begins with authenticity. And Park Chohyeon is far from alone in this bold journey. Another name, equally fierce in her pursuit of living openly, is Som Hyein, a former idol school contestant who shattered norms when she courageously came out as bisexual. Just like Park Chohyeon, Som's story is not only about breaking the mold, it's about setting fire to it and building something freer, braver, and more beautiful in its place. Park Chohyeon lit the spark, then Som Hyein was the one who fanned the flames into a blazing force of change. From the very beginning, Som carried an unmistakable energy, a spirit that danced between fierce independence and raw vulnerability, a combination so rare it could never be replicated. As a former contestant on Idol School, she captivated audiences not just with her sweet voice or infectious smile, but with a magnetic presence that hinted there was far more to her story than what appeared on the surface. In 2019, that deeper story was unveiled, not through a grand interview or media spectacle, but with a single image, a tender photograph shared on Instagram revealing her love for another woman. There were no dramatic captions, no desperate bids for attention, just one honest, fearless moment. And it was enough to send shockwaves through an industry where silence had long been the unspoken rule. In a world where carefully managed images often overshadow reality, Som Hyein's quiet truth spoke volumes, louder than any headline could ever scream. Her act was not about rebellion, it was about liberation, about daring to live, to breathe, and to love without apology, even when the cost was unknown. Countless young people who saw themselves reflected in her courage, Som became more than just an entertainer. She became a beacon, a living reminder that living your truth is a victory in itself. Her journey painted a bold new stroke across the canvas of Korean pop culture, one rich with color, authenticity, and undeniable pride. And as Som stood proudly in her truth, she unknowingly opened a door for others who had long been waiting in the shadows. Among them was Jiae, a former member of the trailblazing group What's Up, whose own story of self-discovery would soon unfold. adding yet another powerful voice to the chorus of change sweeping across Korea's entertainment world. If Som Hyein dared to break the mold, Jiae chose to melt it down and reshape it entirely. Known for her dynamic performances as a member of the girl group What's-Up, Jiae always brought a fearless, edgy flair to the K-pop scene. Her music, style, and unapologetic attitude hinted at an artist unwilling to be boxed in by conventional expectations. Even in the early days of her career, there was a sense that Jiae would someday rewrite her story on her own terms. And when she finally did, it was nothing short of powerful. In 2020, Jiae used the simplest tool at her disposal, her own voice on Instagram, to share a part of her identity with the world. She openly embraced her bisexuality, shattering lingering stereotypes and proving once again that authenticity is not just an act of bravery, but a form of art in itself. There was no fanfare, no scripted interview, just a real person, speaking her truth directly to those who had followed her journey. In an industry where image often dictates narrative, Jiae's raw honesty was a refreshing gust of air that blew away the old, tired rules about who idols are allowed to love and how they are allowed to live. Jiae's decision resonated deeply with fans who had long craved genuine representation in the spotlight. Her courage gave new hope to those still navigating their own paths toward self-acceptance. She showed that success does not have to come at the cost of authenticity, that it is possible to be both celebrated and real, fierce and vulnerable. And as Jiae stepped forward to live more fully in her truth, another voice was stirring quietly in the background, Laura Raj, a rising star from the group Cat's Eye, ready to leave her own fearless mark on the world. In a world that often tries to dictate how beauty should look, Kang Mina chose to define it on her own terms: vibrant, fearless, and undeniably authentic. As a beauty influencer and TikToker, Mina built a dazzling empire not by following trends, but by creating a space where individuality reigns supreme. Her colorful aesthetic, infectious confidence, and unapologetic self-expression turned her into a beacon for a generation craving more than just polished perfection. Through every makeup tutorial, every candid vlog, and every heartfelt post, she reminded her audience that true beauty shines brightest when it is fueled by honesty. Mina's decision to live openly as queer was not just a personal revelation, it was a powerful stand for visibility in an industry where fitting in often feels like a survival strategy. Through Instagram and TikTok, she let her truth unfold naturally, through subtle declarations, proud moments shared with her community, and a daily commitment to showing up exactly as she was. There were no forced narratives, no carefully constructed personas. Just Kang Mina, vibrant and real, turning her platform into a celebration of love, identity, and the freedom to exist without apology. She proved that authenticity is not an obstacle to success, it is the very thing that makes it meaningful. For countless young people navigating their own journeys of self-discovery, Mina's fearless joy became a source of light. She showed that you can be bold, beautiful, and proudly yourself all at once, and that every act of authenticity, no matter how small, plants a seed of change. As Kang Mina continues to inspire a new era of pride and possibility in Korea, she stands as a powerful reminder that the future belongs to those brave enough to live their truth. And now, as we celebrate these incredible women who dared to love out loud, it is time to carry their spirit forward into every story, every heart, and every dream still waiting to be written. There are artists who follow the rules, and then there are artists who break them wide open. Yuun belongs proudly to the latter. As the fierce leader of the indie rock band So Hyein, Yuun has never been afraid to carve her own path, even when it meant standing alone. In an industry often driven by rigid images and narrow definitions, she brought something radical: fearless authenticity, and a voice that demanded to be heard. So Yuun. Commitment to smashing boundaries shone brightest in her music video for Bad. In a bold and breathtaking moment, she shared a same-sex kiss, not for shock value, but as a declaration that love is love, and art should never be confined by outdated norms. For many fans, especially within the LGBTQ+ community, it was a moment of profound validation, a quiet yet powerful revolution in Korean music culture. It was a reminder that sometimes the most powerful acts of rebellion are the ones wrapped in tenderness and truth. But her impact goes far beyond a single scene. In interviews and public appearances, she has championed breaking gender norms and embracing fluidity in both art and life. Her style, her sound, and her spirit celebrate identity in all its beautiful, defiant colors. Through her music, So Yuun has created a space where individuality shines, inspiring a new wave of fans who believe that authenticity is the future. And she is not alone, because in a different corner of Korea's entertainment world, Choi Hanbbit has also been fearlessly rewriting the rules, proving that beauty and bravery can walk the same runway. In a world that often defines beauty by narrow standards, Choi Hanbbit has boldly redrawn the map. As a model, singer, and actress, she was never content with simply fitting into someone else's idea of perfection. Born with dreams larger than life, Choi faced challenges few could imagine. Yet she chose not only to survive, but to thrive, becoming South Korea's first openly transgender star to walk the competitive runways and light up the stages of entertainment. Choi Hanbit's presence is not just about visibility, it is about power. Every time she steps onto a runway, releases a song, or appears in front of a camera, she sends a silent but thunderous message. Authenticity is elegance, and courage is the new standard of beauty. As a member of the K-pop group Mercury, she broke into an industry notorious for its strict norms, shattering barriers simply by standing in the spotlight. Her existence, radiant and undeniable, opened doors for others who had long been taught to stay invisible. Yet it is the way Choi carries her truth that leaves the most lasting impact. She does not seek pity or applause. She demands respect by living unapologetically. In a country still grappling with conversations about gender identity, Choi Hanbit remains a living testament to resilience and grace. Through her artistry, her advocacy, and her unwavering self-belief, she reminds us that true beauty begins when we stop asking for permission to exist. And as we continue our journey through these remarkable lives, another name rises, someone whose youthful glow and fearless voice are lighting the path forward. Yeri of Red Velvet. When it comes to youth and quiet rebellion, few figures shine brighter than Yeri of Red Velvet. From the moment she stepped into the spotlight, Yeri carried more than just the dreams of a young idol. She carried a vision for a more compassionate world. With her fresh energy and undeniable charisma, she captured the hearts of millions. But it was her unwavering support for the LGBTQ+ community that truly set her apart, in an industry where silence often feels safer than solidarity. Yeri has used her platform not merely to entertain, but to amplify voices that are too often left unheard. Whether through subtle gestures in interviews, open displays of support on social media, or collaborations that celebrate diversity, she has consistently aligned herself with a message of acceptance and love. She has shown that even within the glossy, high-pressure world of K-pop, there is room for empathy, for standing firmly beside those still fighting for their place. Yeri's brand of activism is not about grand speeches. It is about consistency, sincerity, and the quiet courage of showing up, time and time again. As her star continues to rise, Yeri remains a symbol of hope for a generation looking for allies in unexpected places. She proves that true influence is not about volume, but about heart, and that even in a world obsessed with image, kindness can be revolutionary. But if Yeri represents the gentle glow of change, the next figure in our journey, CL, storms the stage like a thunderclap, rewriting the rules with every fierce step she takes. If there's one name that defines fearless reinvention in K-pop, it is CL. From her early days leading the iconic group 2NE1 to her groundbreaking solo career, CL has never just played the game, she has rewritten it. With her electrifying stage presence, bold fashion, and unapologetic attitude, she shattered the mold of what a Korean pop star was supposed to be. CL did not just step onto the global stage, she kicked down the doors and made sure they stayed open for others to follow. But beyond the beats and the bravado, CL has always stood firmly with the marginalized, particularly the LGBTQ+ community. Her songs, her performances, and even her public statements have carried an undercurrent of radical acceptance. In a world where image can often feel manufactured, CL's support for diversity and individuality rings loud and true. She champions self-expression in all its forms, daring her fans to live loudly, love fiercely, and never apologize for who they are. It is not just her music that inspires, it is her existence, a bold, uncompromising declaration that authenticity is a power in itself. Today, CL continues to blaze trails not just across stages, but across hearts. She is more than an icon. She is a force of nature, challenging outdated norms and encouraging a generation to find freedom in their own skin. And as we continue to celebrate those who redefine what is possible, our journey takes us beyond the stages of Korea to the glittering world of drag, where Kimchi reigns supreme, a dazzling testament to pride, artistry, and boundless imagination. In the shimmering world of drag, where art and identity collide in the boldest of ways, Kimchi stands as a vision unlike any other. Born in South Korea and raised in the United States, Kimchi transformed her life into a living masterpiece, a dazzling explosion of color, beauty, and unapologetic queerness. When she first appeared on RuPaul's Drag Race, audiences had never seen anything like her. A Korean-American queen who blended haute couture fantasy with deep-rooted pride in her heritage, all while embracing her identity with fierce elegance. Kimchi's artistry goes far beyond flawless makeup or extravagant gowns. Every look she creates tells a story about resilience, about culture, about dreaming bigger than the world dares to allow. She carved out a space where Asian representation and LGBTQ+ pride could shine side by side, dazzling audiences who had long been starved for heroes who looked and lived like them. For Kimchi, drag is not just performance. It is activism, stitched in sequins, a rebellion wrapped in silk, a celebration painted in neon hues. Yet what makes Kimchi truly unforgettable is not just her ability to turn heads, it is her power to open hearts. Through humor, vulnerability, and jaw-dropping artistry, she invites everyone into a world where difference is not tolerated but exalted. She proves that true beauty has no boundaries, that identity is not a burden but a crown. Kimchi's journey is a radiant reminder that when we dare to live our truths out loud, we do not just survive, we shine. And in a world that still struggles to embrace every color of the rainbow, her brilliance lights the way forward. True courage is not found in grand gestures. It lives in the quiet moments when someone chooses to love without fear. These incredible women did not just live their truth, they lit the way for countless others to follow. As Korea's new wave of fearless voices rises, so too does the dream of a world where every love story is celebrated. Stay with us. Like, share, and subscribe to LGBTQ+ Vibes, where every heart finds its voice and every story matters.